Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
Jeff and Apples walk the street, talking about the sky so neat. Weather weapons causing storms, globalists with secret forms. Jeff and Apples, what a pair, whisper plots while breathing air. Apocalypse is on its way, but they still find time to play. They still find time to play. But they still find time to play.
Good day, Apples. Oh, pretty good. What's going on? World War III? Jews? New World Order? You got it, Apples. You gonna stick with me today? Well, if you stick in the house, I'll come with you, no problem. If you look right behind you in the house, I'm always right behind you. But you know, you go out in that hot sun, it's a little too hot for me. So I'll see you when you get back. I'll be here in the kitchen. Oh yeah, another video. Like I've been doing like one video a day for like weeks now. Like 2 hours walking in the sun, hot sun too, by the way. But it's crazy. That intro video apparently is from the Iranian government or something like that. And basically, it shows them destroying Baal, which is what the god of basically the Israelis is. And it's true. And it's so incredible to see that they're putting out stuff like this. And here's like another one.
We sacrificed 168 beautiful, innocent school kids. The best kids. Tremendous sacrifice. Nobody does sacrifice like we do. We did it for you, sir. Believe me, Baal, it's huge.
More. I want more!
So, you know, if you just look at what's happening and who's supposedly fighting who here, and you know, I've said that they're probably all controlled by the same people. And to an extent that might be true, and that might be completely true. But it also is possible that the people, at least some of these people in Iran, the Iranian government, the Iranian army, are actually fighting against the evil in the world, which actually, if you just look at everything going on, that looks how it actually is. Like, I don't know who on earth would be supporting the US and Israel's terror attacks here and be against the people who are standing up to it. But just like in that intro video, basically this completely evil group has been destroying much of the world for a long time. Like Vietnam, just bombing, napalming little kids. But if you watch the US movies, it's like, oh, you gotta feel bad for the soldiers, they got PTSD. It's like, yeah, from killing little kids. because they work for evil, super evil. And almost every country on earth has been attacked by this evil group. I know a lot of people are like, well, but you know, there's people, the army's there to protect us and they're the good guys. No, that's brainwashing from Hollywood, which is all run by the satanic pedovore cult. People really need to open their eyes and see that. Now, I get it, like some people might say, well, my son's in the army, he's not evil. Yeah, that's probably the case, but they need to wake up because they're basically fighting for evil. And the level of evil is beyond comprehension. Like even just in Israel, did you know they actually have an entire, basically like Alcatraz, like a massive prison just for little kids.
After interrogation, children are brought here for trial. Ophir military prison near Jerusalem. The army would not let Four Corners film inside. I've been behind these walls 3 times. I saw children shuffling across the courtyard, handcuffed and shackled. Some hearings lasted 60 seconds. I saw one boy shout the name of his prison so his mother would know where he was being held. I saw the judge convict some children without even once looking at them. Through it all, what I saw was a conveyor belt of convicted children.
I think perhaps to give you some indication of how efficient from a military perspective this system is. According to the military court's own records, their annual report, the courts have a conviction rate of around 99.74%.
Typically, a Palestinian boy convicted of throwing stones will be sentenced to about 3 months imprisonment. The United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, last year released a scathing report on Israel's system. It found that Palestinian children had been threatened with death, physical violence, solitary confinement and sexual assault against themselves or a family member.
The report found that ill treatment was widespread, systematic and institutionalized throughout the system from the moment that the child was arrested right up until the sentencing process.
Last month, under pressure from human rights groups, Israel stopped the long-standing practice of keeping children overnight in outdoor cages. Children had been kept freezing in the cages during snowstorms.
Now, from my perspective, there's only one thing that exists, and that's consciousness, and we're just having this experience. But we do have this experience, and we do have to feel the repercussions of being and having this experience. And so from my perspective, I wish everyone would just wake up and realize all that and stop all this evil stuff. But it appears in this 3D video game matrix that we're having experience in that there's super, super evil people. And most of them have a 6-pointed star or are controlled by people with the 6-pointed Moloch star. And, you know, your average person in the US, like, if they would have just stood up after the CIA and Mossad did 9/11, none of this stuff would ever happen. But they didn't. If they would have just stood up after Donald Trump and Operation Warp Speed tried to kill everyone in the US with lethal injections, this wouldn't be happening. But they didn't. And now this continues. And you still have a lot of people, it's like, well, I got to support the troops. Now I get it. Like, a lot of people have family, they're in the troops. Of course you're not going to say, I want them all to die. Because that's your family. Or that they're super evil, because you don't think your family is super evil. And a lot of them aren't. They're just under mind control and actually unknowingly fighting for evil. But that's where people need to wake up. It's so incredible to see some of the stuff coming out of Iran. Like, I don't watch movies or anything, but I think I heard something about, like, the Lego movie was made in Iran or something. I don't know what that's all about. But they've been putting out stuff like this, which I'm 100% on their side.
Yeah. You crossed the ocean just to find your grave. Sacrificed your own boys for a lie. Listen. Yeah. Yeah. Make America great again. Yo, Tails, this shit crazy. Yeah, make America great again now. We will see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil. While you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil. You thought you ran the blow, sitting on your throne. Now we turning every base into a bed of stone. It's a slaughterhouse, a trap you couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. The secrets are leaking. The pressure is rising. We locked on the target. And now you are hiding. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a bucket while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC. Taste the ash of defeat. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a bucket while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC. Taste the ash of defeat. Swagger's fighting in your suit, hiding Epstein's ghost. You sent your boys to die on the bloody coast. Not a revenge for the leader's blood is purely mine. Every drop of his blood is a missile on the line. You thought you took him out, thought the fire was dead, but another common day is standing ahead. Yeah, you strike one down, we just shatter your brain. We put another in the leg, common day again. The secrets are leaking, the pressure is rising. We locked on the target, and now you are hiding. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC. Taste the ash. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC. Taste the ash of defeat. Sacred defense of the homeland. Sacred defense of the homeland. Sacred defense of the homeland. The slaughterhouse is open. Common name cash. LOSC.
When I say I'm on their side, it's like if I have to pick a side, who am I going to pick? The Epstein child-eating pedophile pedovores, or the ones fighting them? Well, I'll tell you right now, if that's my two options, and those are real options, 100% on the side of the people fighting them. It's so incredible. I can't even believe any of this stuff's happening. Actually, most of the things I've been seeing, I had to check about 3 videos in this video that I'm going to show you, because I'm like, well, that can't be real. And they all turned out to be real as far as I can tell. Like, this whole matrix is losing coherence. And the whole Trump stuff, like, he says the opposite thing every 5 minutes. And tweets about it, and the markets go up and the markets go down. And he's like, I just did a peace deal. I just took over. Yeah, we just defeated Iran. The war's over. Meanwhile, no, it's not. I think this is actually what's actually going on.
Boom! 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 Mr. President, it's time.
Okay. Iran lost their Navy. They've lost their Air Force. They have no radar. We won.
Now that was AI, but I don't think this next video is AI. And I don't even know what he's talking about here. I don't know, like I said, this whole system's losing coherence, and you're just seeing the craziest stuff. Apparently, and I think this is true, go look it up for yourself. Don't, never just take my word for it. Especially with stuff like that. I don't have time to look into all this stuff. But I think this is real. That Donald Trump said Iran sent him a gift, and he was very thankful for it. It's like, that doesn't make any sense from everything we know. Didn't you just attack and try to kill everyone there? And didn't you just threaten to do it by this Friday? And aren't they putting out all these videos saying you're basically a Baal worshiper, which he is. He's in Chad Lubavitch. They all worship Baal, Moloch, Satan, whatever you want to call it. But Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, and then he doesn't say what the gift is. He's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a gift. It's a very nice gift.
It was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people. Was that nuclear related? No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people.
This is the weirdest war ever. Trump keeps saying that the war's over, they won. Then he says we're in peace talks. The other side keeps going, no, we're not, and we'll never be in peace talks, because rightfully so, every time they do, Israel and the U.S. backstabs them and kills everyone in the peace negotiations. But it just keeps going on. I wonder if all the past wars were this weird. Probably, right? Like, I've always wondered about World War I. You know, when I was in the government indoctrination camps and I had to memorize all these dates, they're like, yeah, the World War I started in 1914. You know, right after the Federal Reserve was founded. They didn't tell us that part. They didn't tell us how the Titanic was sunk so that the Federal Reserve could be started. None of that stuff. We got the Titanic movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, who's in the satanic pedovore cult. But I remember them saying, yes, yeah, that whole war, why, you know, you put up your hand, a little kid in the government indoctrination camp. Hey, why did like tens of millions of people just butcher each other? And they were like just neighbors, and just out of the blue, they were butchering each other. And they'll go, well, there was this Prince Ferdinand, and he got assassinated. It doesn't make any sense. So I think even in the past, none of this stuff made any sense. It was just the globalist, satanic pedovore banksters causing all of these massive events with people under mind control. And there's definitely nothing over here unless everything's fake and AI, which I don't think it is, because we get a fair amount of, you know, people on the ground, a lot of first person or like third person to us, but, you know, people saying this stuff's happening. Although you have to kind of wonder too, what amount of this is even real? Because we do live in the age of AI now. I don't trust anything, like nothing. But it appears like they're taking out all of the oil and natural gas infrastructure on Earth. And this continues to happen, like even since my last video. Iran begins targeting Israeli power plants. Iranian missiles reportedly hits power plant in Israel's Hadera. And then also since my last video, and this is why I have to do videos every day, because this is how fast things are happening. Remember I said Ukraine, which is all backed by the satanic pedovores, bombed a major Russian oil refinery and infrastructure. Well, they did even more since then. The Russian port of Ust-Luga was attacked overnight into March 25th, which is the day I'm doing this video, by Ukrainian long-range drones. And that was after the ones that happened the day before in Primorsk, an oil port, which was also bombed. And now Reuters, which is controlled by the Rothschilds and basically the satanic pedovores, says at least 40% of Russia's oil export capacity has been halted following major Ukrainian drone attacks across the country. In the last 2 weeks, most of the oil, not most, but a lot of the oil production, transportation, infrastructure in Iran, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Israel, and I think there's numerous others even beyond that. Oh, Saudi Arabia, that's a huge one, have all been knocked out. And then in the last 2 days, 40% of Russia's oil export capacity has been knocked out. This is getting insane. This is clearly an agenda. And they plan to knock out most of the oil and natural gas in the world, and they are. And if they continue to do it, this is going to be Like if this just continues, they even hit one of the biggest oil refineries in the US, in Texas, called Port Arthur. That was just a couple days ago. They hit a Mexican oil refinery about a week or two ago. If this continues much longer, there's basically not going to be any oil anywhere on Earth very soon. Like we're talking weeks, days or weeks. And of course, the satanic pedovores, a spokesperson, Trump, said that they're giving Iran until Friday, and now they're sending troops to that area. It's just a few thousand. They're going to get slaughtered if they're actually going there. And if Iran fights back, they're going to take out all their electrical grid, which they've already started to do, by the way. That actually has been going on. So even Iranian electrical grids have been started to be taken out. The Kuwait electrical grid was taken out by Iran after that. This is all in the last couple of days. This is why I have to do these videos every day now. But then, if this continues, and they do the even bigger attack on Friday, Iran said they're basically going to turn the Middle East into an unlivable place for decades or centuries in the future, including Israel. And that's where a lot of the oil, fertilizer, everything comes from that region. If that happens, like I think as it is right now, you might have a few weeks, max a month or two, max. And remember, I said all this stuff with the COVIDs. When the COVIDs came out, we actually had a COVIDs recovery center at Anarchapulco 2020 because we had heard the word. And I knew what it was. We actually had Dr. Sherry Tenpenny there speaking about lethal injections, also Del Bigtree, I believe. Speaking about vaccines, and people said, Jeff, why do you have that? I'm like, can't you see what's happening? Do you not meditate, get downloads? It's all coming. And they say it's all coming. Kill Gates did his TED Talk on it, that they're going to try to kill at least 50% of the world population with vaccines. And then the COVIDs came out. We had a COVIDs recovery center, and we had some people dress up as nurses with surgeons' masks, and they're handing out Corona beers. And then everyone went home from Anarchapulco, a freedom event in Mexico, and got locked down for about 2 to 3 years. Destroyed most of the economy. Most people couldn't travel. And they tried to inject everyone on Earth with poison. And I was saying that within days. Even at the Anarchapulco conference, we were warning people about it. This is before anyone even heard the word COVIDs. On the last day of Anarchapulco, we started to hear the word COVID, so we started the COVIDs Recovery Center. Within a month or two, the entire world was unrecognizable. Everyone all of a sudden was wearing surgeon's masks and begging to be injected with poison. It was insane. And that's what I'm telling you right now. See, the funny thing is, when I say these things, hardly anyone gets it. So you might be sitting there eating your chips, drinking your beer. Well, anyway, next month I'm going on my vacation to Hawaii, which is all underwater, by the way. You might want to check that. They've been doing all the weather weapon stuff, too.
Hawaii is grappling with its worst flooding disaster in over 2 decades. A relentless series of Kona-low storms has dropped nearly 16 inches of rain on parts of Oahu in just 24 hours, triggering a statewide emergency. The crisis is centered on Oahu's north shore. Over 5,000 residents in Haleiwa and Wailua were ordered to evacuate immediately due to the imminent risk of the 120-year-old Wahiawa Dam failing.
And then in a few months, there'll be no gas, no food, the supermarkets will be empty, it'll be Mad Max, and no one will be ready for it. I don't know what it is. I think it's the government indoctrination camps. They don't teach people how to think, and they don't teach people how to actually be proactive in getting ready for anything, and they just get taken out. But anyway, if you're watching this, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be so massive. So massive. Way bigger than the COVIDs. And this is what Satan Claus said. He said what they're going to do next is going to make the COVIDs look like a minor disturbance.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
Now, I've been getting ready for this ever since they told us what was coming. Got goats, sheep, chickens, greenhouses, got a creek for water, growing all of our own food, just getting the solar panels put up now, so that's our final steps here. And then we're going to be completely self-sufficient. Because I knew all this stuff was coming. And it was obvious. If you've been listening to me, I've been saying this, and I've been saying for years. You should be doing stuff like this. But most people don't listen. And it's already started to hit many parts of the world. Of course, Australia, there's been a lot of empty supermarkets. Tons of gas stations are closed now. They've run out of fuel. But it's hitting even harder in Asia and India. Like, here's people trying to buy gas right now in India for their 1 billion scooters. And here they all are a few minutes later. You know, when I look at that, it looks like tens of thousands of people on scooters going to one gas station. I kind of get part of their point when the satanic pedovore group goes, there's too many people on Earth. We got to get it down to 500 million people. Because when you look at that, it's like, holy cow. Like, why are these people still having kids? If I lived in a place that looked like that, and you can barely move, there's so many people, the last thing I would ever do is have a kid. But I don't know what's going on. They just keep having kids. I mean, hey, maybe a lot of them need to be taken away or something. But I'm not doing it, but they are. But they want to do it for basically everybody on Earth. They want to take out all of the Goyim. And that is all part of their plan. And it's all begun. Like, if you look back to these videos 3 months from now, if you're even alive, or if you have internet, or if you have power, quite unlikely. But if you do, you'll be like, why didn't I listen? I would have done so many things different. Well, do that now. Now, it might not happen in the next couple days, or even a couple of weeks. It might not. But there's a very good chance it will. And it's definitely going to start. It's already started in Australia.
Take a look at those Bowsers. You can see that every single one of those has either covered up or they have a sign on it saying no petrol. Everything is out of service. There is no fuel whatsoever here at the Ampol in Cherrybrook.
On getting fuel to where it needs to be. From Queensland to South Australia, nearly 250 service stations are out of diesel. Those who can get it are paying dearly.
We use approximately 30,000 litres a month. It's $1 a litre dearer than what we paid 3 weeks ago.
Surging diesel costs hurting the transport sector too. Unions demanding government intervention to ensure drivers are compensated.
On the advice of the National Fuel Task Force, we're introducing new restrictions to manage the current fuel shortage. Firstly, all non-essential driving is now banned. This includes late night Macca's runs, cruising with your girlfriend. We cannot afford to be wasting fuel. All Australians must remain within their 5-kilometre radius, and we strongly recommend working from home and walking where possible. Similar to the COVID lockdowns, only essential travel will be permitted. This includes emergency services and driving to get alcohol. We'd also like to remind Australians there is no need to panic buy petrol. If you see anyone wasting fuel, driving excessively, or outside without a valid reason, we ask you to report them to Crime Stoppers on 1-800-NO-FUEL. Together, if we make these sacrifices, it should only take 2 weeks to flatten the curve of petrol prices.
Who we got here? I'm telling you, They're doing so many things that you just have conspiracy theorists on BitChute just passing each other in the streets doing videos.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? It's crazy. What are you talking about? The energy crisis, energy lockdowns?
Oh, yeah.
You see all the energy lockdown stuff they're saying now?
Oh, yeah. Did you hear that Ukraine just hit Russia again just now and hit their other major oil plant, and they're now are down 40% of their oil exports right now?
See, that's what all this is about, is oil, energy, everything they're attacking. Sure, they're bombing cities and shit, but it's all energy related. Huge energy lockdowns. So they just put forth this plan. This lady, what's her name? Somebody, Joy. I've just had her on at the start of the video here. I'll send you a link. You'll see it anyway. And she outlined the plan. It's all been put forth. So this has all been planned for so long.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think the puppet players know that they're puppets. Like, I think Trump, his ego is so high. He really thought he was.
Yeah, a lot of them don't know.
Boy, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm going to be the one to take down the Iranian menace and all that sort of shit. No, Trump, you're a freaking puppet. And the Iranians aren't backing down. Like, I don't think they're playing the game the way they want it, but they don't care, because what they really want is just for all the infrastructure to be destroyed, and Iran's just doing it for them, thinking they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, so for anyone out there, if you're not getting prepared right now, you need to be getting prepared. Like, look where Max and I are. We're on a ranch in Mexico, which they'll tell you is dangerous, right? That's what they want you to think. We have all of our own food, we have all of our own water. Max has solar panels on his bungalow. I'm just putting solar panels up at our house there. Just, be aware, like, get ready right now. Look what's happening in Australia. Like, there's supermarkets are emptying out of the food. The gas stations are shutting down. This is just the beginning. Yeah. This is like talking about the COVIDs in like February of 2020, which we were, and no one listened to us. And a few months later, it was complete chaos. So make sure you're, get ready for this. This is going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, it is. And, yeah, like I spoke to my son yesterday. He said there's still food and stuff where he is, but in Darwin and stuff, the shelves are empty. But the price of gas, it's like $3 a litre. This is like, what's this like?
It's about $10, I think. Yeah.
$12 a gallon.
Oh, you just wait. A month or two from now, it'll be like 20 or 30.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
And you know how many people have barely been surviving in Australia? They can't barely afford food.
And Malaysia has shut down gas shipments to Australia, and it's getting really bad. So, yeah, enjoy the ride, folks. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
It's going to get nuts.
Yeah, we're just passing each other on the streets here in the ranch. Yeah. It's pretty amazing how it all worked out. I'm just basically passing Max Egan all the time on our bunker, getting ready for the apocalypse to go down. Oh, and speaking of Australia, did you know a Cat 5 hurricane just hit Australia?
A Cat 5 hurricane?
Yeah, in the north.
In the north?
See, they didn't even tell anyone. It just hit like 2 days ago.
No, I didn't even hear about it.
Cat 5.
Wow.
They're taking out Australia.
Whereabouts? I'll have to check that out and I wonder where it hit.
Cape York Peninsula.
Cape York, okay. Well,
but still, they're hitting it with everything right now.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of hippie communities up there that suffer from that.
Yeah, actually, I know some people who have that.
It's not a major population area, but yeah, okay, I'll have to check it.
Yeah, they're slamming Australia right now. It's crazy stuff. Yeah, Max didn't even know. See, that's how crazy it was. Even when the Cat 5 hit Acapulco, most people in the world had no idea. They didn't even tell anyone about it. They're just hitting with their energy weapons right now. And there's so many other things going on that people don't know about. Like I mentioned, Hawaii's basically underwater right now. Did you know that? Did you know Nebraska's almost completely on fire?
So a near million-acre fire has been burning through Nebraska, if you didn't know, literally the size of fucking Rhode Island, and I've been noticing zero media coverage on it. Every camera, every reporter, every headline is pointed at the Middle East. Fire is approaching 1 million acres, one of the largest in U.S. history, and I just want you to think about this when considering this fire being in Nebraska, okay? Before we get to that, I just want you to think about this. Massive wildfires in Nebraska are threatening to slow efforts to rebuild the U.S. cattle herd as key grazing land in one of the nation's top beef producing states has been destroyed. Fires fueled by high winds have burned roughly 775,000 acres of pasture, removing a critical feed source for tens of thousands of cattle, according to state officials. Loss of grassland is expected to delay herd expansion plans, even as producers have been encouraged by historically strong cattle prices. You see where I'm going here? Now think about this. Nebraska just so happens to sit on top of the Ogallala Aquifer, which just so happens to be the largest underground water source in America. Ogallala supplies 30% of all irrigation water used in U.S. agriculture. Think about this. While oil prices go up, fertilizer costs skyrocket. If shipping is interrupted, then grain exports also stall. This is happening during the biggest geopolitical crisis in 50 years. And you really think it's a coincidence?
They are taking everything out. And I think it's going to get worse. I'm so glad on our ranch, I came up with this plan during the first few months of COVID. I said, they're going to try to kill everyone on Earth. And I don't know how it's going to go. But I know that I need to be on a place where I have my own food, my own livestock, our own water supply, our own power supply, far from any major cities. And now here I am with Max Egan. He couldn't have, and he was one of the only people who got the COVIDs at the very start too. Now we're both here. We even have a bug out RV that I never use, but just in case, we're behind 15-foot walls here. Painted my roof blue. Oh, this video game is the best. It's so incredible. And Europe is going to get... Europe, I don't even know what's going to happen there. This is going to be insane. They already have knocked down most of their energy sources, their nuclear plants. They just finished knocking them all down, you know, for the global warming. And they won't accept Russian gas, but now they can't because Russia can't even export gas. Of course, the U.S. already bombed the pipeline that went from Russia to Europe. And like, I would get out of Europe, like most of Europe. Like, I hate to say this, I doubt Liverpool is going to happen this year. Like, highly doubt it. Serbia might be okay because it's not in the European Union. But a lot of places in Europe, it's going to be like Mad Max there. And what did they do? They just brought in millions and millions and millions of like young fighting-aged Africans and people from Arabic states and stuff like that who kind of hate those people already. Do you see all the plan now? Are you starting to get it? They've been doing this for a while. Like, here's a map of the EU deindustrialization tracking shutdowns. In Netherlands, you've got an ammonia plant, methanol plant shut down. UK, ammonia. A lot of these are fertilizers. These are all fertilizer plants. Belgium, ammonia plant shut down. France, ammonia. Yeah, these are all fertilizer plants being shut down, and they've been already shut down. Finland has one, Norway has one. Look at Germany. Ammonia, it says a DMT plant. I don't think that's what I think it is. But yeah, Germany's been deindustrializing massively. Poland shut down numerous nitrogen production, ammonia. These are all fertilizer plants. Lithuania, Romania, Austria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, Croatia, Turkey. Of course, we've already seen in places like Netherlands, they're trying to get rid of all the farmers. Like, ask yourself, why would this entire continent of Europe, even though I don't even think it's really a continent, I think that's kind of made up. That's a whole other story. But why would they get rid of all of their power production and fertilizer and try to shut down all the farmers? Well, there's a group of satanic pedovores that wants to destroy them. And they've said it numerous times. They really want to destroy Europe. They want to destroy the U.S. They call it Amalek.
A command to wipe out from among all the descendants of Esav, descendants of Amalek, male and female, young and old. And that is why Amalek is so terrible, and it has to be totally uprooted. Therefore, God tells us we should erase their memory, and we should eradicate them from the face of the earth. Who is Amalek? Amalek comes from Esav.
Esav, who in modern day terms is really basically, certainly one of them is America. Esav became Edom, which is a nation. Edom became Rome. Instead of it being Rome, it became Christianity. Christianity, of course, ultimately became Western civilization. So Esav today is really Western civilization.
Yeah, but if you say anything about those people, you'll be called antiseptic and you'll be thrown in jail. And they're already doing that in the US, by the way. I'll get to that in a second. But first, let's check in with Mossad agent Larry Loomer. Soon there'll be a massive Islamic terror attack in America. And the perpetrators will likely have financial ties to podcasters and those who are sowing discord for foreign nations in America. I predict there will be many casualties, and only then will it maybe set in the people who have been conned into supporting a terrorist psyop to distract you from the threat of Islam, while the enemy plotted to destroy our country from within. It will likely be 10 times worse than 9/11. So Larry Loomer's a Mossad agent. Mossad and the CIA did 9/11. And she's telling you there's going to be something far bigger than 9/11 now, which I don't doubt whatsoever. I even said, how could they do this big world war without doing a false flag first? They always do a false flag. Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, they always do a false flag first. This time they didn't. So they're kind of like going to do it now, and I would not doubt it whatsoever. Should point out, if you're working at the tallest building in Los Angeles, lucky Larry Silverstein just bought it. You might want to not be working there right now. Although I don't know if they'll knock that down, because that's not bigger than 9/11. It's actually smaller. That's way smaller than Twin Towers. But it might be one of the things they do. It's going to be something. This is coming soon. So Larry Loomer wrote that. And then Max Egan, who gets banned on X all the time, but he was unbanned for a period of time recently, he wrote this. In other words, Jews are not getting the support they need, so there's a very high probability they will stage another false flag attack on U.S. soil in an attempt to rally support for their wars. Judaism is a death cult, and Jews get depressed if they are not mass murdering Goyim. And then Max said, I just got locked out of X for 7 days again because of this post, because it's hate speech. Max also was locked out of X right before the October 7th false flag, where they said people in paragliders blew up 300 cars and stuff. So what they do, just so you know, right before the Mossad's about and the Israel's about to do a major attack, they usually ban Max Egan, because he'll be the first to speak up about it and warn people about it like he was there. So he's warning. He's like, no, it's going to be Mossad that does it. X, Elon Musk, X. Where's Elon Musk in all this? He hasn't mentioned a thing. Not a thing. Like, that guy was just blah, blah. Here's what I think about this. I like this. And blah, 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 blah. And oh, freedom. I've got the free speech. Blah. Nothing. Zero. Zero. That guy's like in hiding or something. But his operation is making sure that no one who's saying anything about the truth, trying to warn people about what's going to happen, get out on X. And even if you post a meme like on X, they're now going around in the US and arresting you. And when I saw this was another one. When I saw it, I was like, well, this has to be AI. Like, there's no way you've got this like sheriff guy. He's got a giant projector with a giant meme of him with like a star of Remphan on his forehead. And he's saying how we have to stop this and how they arrested the guy. I thought it was fake, but I think it's real.
I give you this by way of example. Some pond scum felt empowered and emboldened enough to put this picture of me up to try to threaten and intimidate me, which of course he didn't do because I signed up for this. And by the way, the person that did this said a bunch of terrible things, not just against me, but against a lot of groups and individuals. Who, by the way, was arrested today in Wisconsin.
So all the guy did was he posted a photo of the guy. He put some earlock things on him, so he changed his hairstyle. And he put the star of Remphan on his forehead. And the cop went crazy, had a press conference, and arrested the guy. But the cop has been, he was there for their false flag of an attack of a synagogue recently. And so people were saying, oh, he's standing up for Israel, Mossad, and all these sort of things. And then they post the Israel flag symbol on his forehead. And they went after him. They actually found him. The guy went on the run for memes in the U.S., land of the free. Oh, it's so incredible. You know, this world is so insane. Like, really, if you look at the last 100 years, how insane that was, right? World War I. Like, before World War I, there wasn't even planes or anything, like a couple of years before. But all of a sudden, World War I breaks out because some Archduke Ferdinand, it's obviously not what it was, right? got killed and everyone started flamethrowing each other. Then a couple of years later, hundreds of millions of people are all killing each other, mostly Christians, mostly white people, and Asians. And then they faked going to the moon. then they attack and kill all the kids in Vietnam, napalm them. Did the same thing in Korea. Kissinger was all just cackling. Then they did the false flag of 9/11. Like, what a crazy 100 years. And we're not slowing down at all right now. You know, there's been a lot of books about stuff like that, about cycles, about how these things tend to go in cycles. And one of the more famous books about it is called The Fourth Turning. And basically, to boil that book down into like 2 sentences, this is basically what the book says. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. And that's totally true. And what have we had for the last 20 or 30 years in the West? Just good times and easy times and porn and partying and alcohol and drugs and materialism and, oh, look at my shiny car and all this sort of stuff. And what did that create? Incredibly, incredibly weak men. And what did that allow? This world that we have today. But I saw someone did a bit of an update on that. And this one is more for like our times today, especially with the OnlyFans 40-year-old Jewish CEO just recently dying. The OnlyFans recursive civilizational death cycle. Men sub and whack it off to OnlyFans girls. Money goes to the Jews. Jews give money to AIPAC. AIPAC buys Congress. Congress sends money and weapons to Israel. Israel mass murders men, women, and children on an industrial scale, destroying civilization. Survivors are displaced and sent into your country. Your country is forced to finance the survivors. Your country's culture and politics are thrown into further turmoil. The political chaos makes it easier for AIPAC to control Congress. Protection for Jews are passed. Money flows to Jewish organizations, while white guys are vilified and their civilization destroyed. White men are denied jobs and promotions. Sad and dejected, they sit at home, broken or broke. They turn to whacking it off to OnlyFans girls for solace. Repeat. And that person said, this is the basic business model for all Jewish-owned enterprises. By the way, they sell Vice, which destroys you once, then plows the profits into their network of organizations. These organizations then set themselves to work for their destroying your civilization. In this way, Jews are destroyers from the bottom up and the top down. And it's not all Jews,
but many.
In fact, it's mostly these satanic pedovores that come from basically every race and religion. And they've kind of co-opted this Israel Jewish thing for a period of time, but now they're actually going to kill all the people that are there, which is total karma for a lot of them, like total karma. But yeah, that's basically how this world works. And here's my third video of this video that I was like, well, that has to be AI. I saw it on X and I was like, no, it can't be. It can't be. And it's this robot comes walking out with Melania Trump, who's a prostitute that Jeffrey Epstein used to have as his girlfriend and now Donald Trump has. And she walks out with this robot, and then they greet Macron's husband, partner, who's groomed him since he was a child. She's a satanic pedophile groomer. He, not a she, she's a he. See how they get us all confused? It's a he. And then Donald Trump's nowhere to be seen. So basically, how does this look to you? It looks like the robot, the AI, what you could call the non-human, the satanic pedovore cult, is now the president. And that's basically what they're announcing here. Most people don't have eyes to see or ears to hear. Basically, this incredibly evil group and system and consciousness field is now announcing to the world that they are now the rulers. They've always been the rulers for hundreds or thousands of years, but now they're just coming right out and saying that. It's like now the robots and the AI are your rulers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the... Dame I gospodo, prva dama na Sjedinjenih Amerikanskih državi, Melania Trump.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House. It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inaugural meeting. I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America.
Yeah, they're just coming right out and saying it now. Maybe that's their Antichrist. Maybe the Antichrist is the AI, which Peter Thiel did a whole 3-part lecture on why he's not the Antichrist and why the Antichrist is if you try to stop artificial intelligence. It's crazy. And here's the guy who was the World Economic Forum chairman for a while. I think he quit or something. But he came in after Satan Klaus left. But Satan Klaus is kind of back now. None of it makes any sense. But here's what he had to say.
The world needs a savior. And the hope is that AI is the savior that we need for productivity. And the challenge with this is it may or may not be. We just don't know yet.
So like I said, this is the very beginning of the next wave. This is COVID 2.0 basically, and it's going to be 100 times worse, just like Satan Klaus said. This one's going to come with no power, no transportation. So just on the most basic level, if you live in a major city pretty much anywhere in the world, you should either leave now or get ready to and be prepared to leave at a moment's notice. And that moment's notice, by the way, might be when the power goes out or when you notice the supermarkets are pretty close to empty. But you should be either out or preparing to get out right now. Unless you just want to enjoy the chaos and be in the middle of just people tearing each other apart and dying and murder and if you enjoy that, then stay. But if you don't, you should be preparing. Like just with everything that's happened, just with the oil supply of the world, a lot of this stuff's going to happen now. It's baked in the cake. Obviously, get some way to generate your own power. By the way, there's a great thing. I've got one of these. It's called a Jackery. You can actually power it with solar. And it actually, if you get a big enough one, I think the Jackery 3000, you can run your fridge and everything off of it. And basically, if you have sun, like I do here in Mexico, although Bill Gates is trying to block it out in a lot of places in the world, but luckily not here, you can basically, that's your solar panels. So I would rush and get something like that. Make sure you've got a decent amount of food supply, and not just like a week or two, like 6 months or a year's worth. And that's minimum. Obviously, try to be in a place where you grow your own food. A place like this, obviously. But if you can't, make sure you've got, there's never been actually a more important time to become a prepper. And a lot of this prepper has been around for a long time. A lot of people have laughed at them, especially as their food goes, their storable food goes bad after like 10 or 20 years. If you're ever going to become a prepper, now is absolutely the time. And obviously, if you have the means to get into the Tesla Club, get a plasma machine as soon as possible. I actually just hooked mine up to my jacuzzi today for the first time, and I didn't realize this is so awesome. So I'm in my jacuzzi tub with my plasma machine, so I'm getting all the plasma in the water, and I realized that the patio doors in front of my jacuzzi open, and I realized that in the morning the sun comes right in, so I'm basically naked in my jacuzzi, getting plasmaed up while I'm getting like all the rays from the sun, which are super, super healthy, obviously. That was the best. And all of that stuff can run off my solar panels. The Tesla machine, by the way, can run off like the smallest battery you've got, basically. It uses less power than a desktop computer. It uses a little more than some laptop computers. That's it. So anyway, that's what you should be doing. And then, of course, you can also, because basically what's going to come out of this is whoever's left alive, it's going to be poor people, and they're going to put them in the smart cities. They're going to be injecting them and actually turning them into transhumans. Or richer people who live off the grid and, are smart enough and connected enough to stay outside of all this stuff until it all collapses, probably in just a couple of years. But most people are going to lose everything in this. Like all the markets are going to crash. Like, you can quote me on this, okay? Most markets will be in like something you would call a crash in the next max 3 months, probably in the next 2 months, probably less, probably in less than in a month or so. You can quote me on that. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. I don't see how it avoids it now. Especially when you look at just the oil supply stuff. Like just Dario said, it took about a month in 2020 for the world to realize the economic impact of COVIDs and lockdowns already happening in Asia. This chart is a great representation of the magnitude of today's oil shock, going to hit the Western economies very soon. And it says the largest oil supply shock ever hasn't fully spread to the West, but you can see that global oil in transit is down from about 900 million barrels, or I don't know if that's million barrels, but barrels, to almost 600 now. So that's a 30% drop in oil that's even being transported right now. And just so you know, if 30% of a commodity just disappears, it doesn't mean the price of it goes up 30%. Like, just think about it. Here's how you can figure that out on your own. Let's say there's a commodity, let's just say oil, and there's 1,000 barrels of it on Earth, and it's worth $100 a barrel, whatever you want to call it. What would be the price of that barrel of oil if 99 of those barrels just disappeared? So it'd go down about 99% in supply. Do you think the last remaining barrel of oil would just double in price? No, it would actually go up 10, 100,000 times in price because it'd be so valuable and whoever wanted it would do anything to get it. So when the oil that's in the world right now is now down about 30%, it's not like the price of oil is only going to go up 30%. It's going to go up probably hundreds of percent. And just look at this, the Donald Gorbachev posted, the 5-second epistemology of the rig count. 95 to 140 jackup rigs in the Gulf. Virtually all of them affected. Saudi Arabia's 40 to 60. Safania shut down. Production cut 20%. Arabia 3 hit directly by a drone on March 7th. UAE's 25 to 35, output down more than half. Qatar's 15 to 20, force majeure since day 4. Kuwait's 5 to 10 oil rigs, force majeure. Iran's 10 to 15 being bombed. A third of the world's entire jackup fleet in one body of water, and that third is essentially offline. These are the shallow water workhorses. The Gulf averages 160 foot deep. Every barrel of Gulf offshore oil comes through a jackup. Break even at $10 to $15 a barrel. The cheapest, highest margin oil on Earth. Stop the jackups and production falls. Not eventually, now. Every day those rigs sit idle, the wells deplete. The pressure drops, the water cut rises. The 3.4 million barrels a day from Saudi offshore alone is smaller today than yesterday and smaller tomorrow than today. And the crews are gone. Specialized workers on flights home. Recontracting them means months of remobilization and safety inspections on platforms that sat in a war zone. The production doesn't restart with a press conference. Now add today evacuation orders on another 2 million barrels a day of refining and a fifth of the world's LNG. Liquid natural gas. Jubail, Samref, Ras Laffan, Al Hassan, Mesalid, Haifa. On top of the idle rigs, on top of South Pars bombed, on top of the Strait closed for 19 days. A third of the world's jackup fleet offline. The refineries evacuating, the gas fields burning, and the Strait closed. $200 is the base case. $150 isn't conservative. $150 per barrel is stupid. The numbers past 200 is the number the economists don't have a word for because they're still calling it stagflation, while a third of the world's jackup fleet sits idle, and the decline curves run, and the refineries evacuate, and the system dies. Day 19, 95 to 140 rigs, a third of the global fleet, essentially offline. The decline curve running, the crews gone, the refineries evacuating. South Pars burning, the straits closed, the system's dying, the empire posting rapidly out of business. See, I see a lot of these maggot types who are not very smart, obviously. And they're like, oh no, Trump's already said there's a peace talk, the war's over, everything's going to go back to normal. These don't go back to normal. These things are destroyed. To get them even back online will be months or years, and that's pretty optimistic. So you've got like a third, and that person didn't even know about how Russia's now reduced its oil exports by 40%. This very quickly, in, I don't know, maybe a week or two, you might see most of the world have no gasoline. It'll just be out. And just imagine what happens then. Then the power starts going out. This is what they want. Now, it might not be everywhere, and it might not be that fast, but it's going to be in a lot of places, and it's going to be fairly quickly. So, you know, if you've been watching my videos, like, yeah, Jeff always says this is going to happen in the future, that's going to happen in the future. This is going to happen in the future. Be prepared now. Prepare everything you can right now. And it's probably going to get worse. They haven't even done their false flag attack yet, or the complete destruction of Iran, and then Iran completely destroying all of the Gulf. Like, you better have solar panels, you better have your Tesla machine, or you're never going to have one. And that will be one of the most important things you'll need, because there's not going to be any hospitals, and you don't even want to go to those anyway. It's not going to be any big pharma stuff, and that's actually great. But you're going to need something for, you know, any sort of health issues you have to, you know, there's going to be lots of people trying to get into your place. There's going to be lots of blood. So I would rush to get a Tesla machine if you can in the Tesla Club. Go to tzla.club. But I would also say that most of the market has no idea. Like, did you see that woman in the Australian supermarket? And there was no food in there whatsoever. And she was just laughing. Like, I'm pretty jovial myself. I might, but I'd say something like, there's no food here anymore. I'm the F out of here. But she was more like, anyway, I'm going to go order some Uber Eats. Like, they're clueless. They're NPCs. And most of them are going to die. Adios. Yeah. There's some of our mates. They all live in the town around here. We employ half the town. It's pretty cool. We always go to all their birthday parties. They come to ours. So we've got, like, this entire area is people who all love us. Actually, my son, we drive around in the racer, and he says hello to everyone almost every morning, and they're always so happy to see him. So anyway, that's what you want to do. But here's the thing, like I said, most people have no idea what's going on. Like, go talk to anyone on the street. Just go, hey, did you know there might be a problem coming up? They go, what problem? You know, I watched the news. Donald Trump said the war's over. It's like, holy cow. And you can see it in the markets. The markets still haven't crashed. Short everything. And that's what I've been telling people in the Vigilante Insiders Club. But here's the thing, too. It's not easy. Like, you got to be on top of this, and we have to be on top of this. And Donald Trump can send out a tweet, and you can get wiped out. So you have to be very careful. You have to have access to the most incredible people who are ready for this. This is what we've waited. I've waited my whole life for this. I knew this was coming. It's actually, I think, why I drank so much when I was younger. I was bored. I was like, when do we get to the apocalypse part? That's when it gets really interesting. So anyway, the Vigilante Insiders Club somehow miraculously is open this week. Like, we did this before too. Every major event, we just happen to be reopening the Vigilante Insiders Club for new members. But it closes on Saturday at midnight. So this might be, I'll probably do another video tomorrow because this is how crazy everything is, but this might be my last video until then. So this might be the last time you hear about it. $vigilante.com/Vic. Pause for a second, take a deep breath, and be very careful what you do here, because if you miss this opportunity, you're really going to be missing out on being in the room with some of the smartest people who are the best at crisis investing. And there's going to be so many opportunities, like so many. I'm expecting actually to make fortunes, like absolute fortunes in just the next 3 months. I already have doubled my portfolio size twice. See, it goes up and down. I doubled it once, or tripled it. And then Trump sent out a tweet, said the war's over, and everyone believed him, and everything went back down. And then it was obvious it wasn't over, so it went up again. It tripled again, almost tripled, 250% up. But I didn't sell because I'm like, I know what's coming. And they sent out another tweet. He's like, oh, no, we're not going to do anything for 5 days, and everything went back down again. But one of these times it's going up, and it's not stopping for a long time, and I'm highly leveraged. But you have to be careful with leverage too, and that's we'll advise you. We actually help you right in the Vigilante Insiders Club. I help everyone, so does all our analysts. You have any questions, like I don't know where to trade, I don't know how to use leverage, we'll give you all the resources you need. We'll even walk you through it. but only for a very few people. It's a very exclusive club. Maximum 300. And we're getting pretty close to that. So it might even close before Saturday. So again, think very hard about it. You can even pay monthly. And you can get in the club right now, and I'll be there to welcome you. Like I welcome every single person when you come in. $vigilante.com/Vic. Make sure you go there if you want to potentially make fortunes in the next few months. And I should also mention, and this just came out of the blue, Rafael Laverde of the Crypto Vigilante has basically uncovered and gotten access to basically what is a brand new alpha project like Bitcoin or Ethereum before it even launched. And it's very secret, and only like Bitcoin OGs and stuff know about it, and they're actually investing in it right now. And Rafael's going to make it so people in the Vigilante Insiders Club can invest in it or have access to it. And he'll be announcing that in just the next few days. And that's the kind of thing too, when you get early into these major projects that no one knows about yet, but they'll soon know about, you can make absolute fortunes. And that'll only be announced at first to people in the Vigilante Insiders Club. So that's another thing you might want to sign up for, $vigilante.com/Vic. And I think I'll leave it there. I don't know where Apples is. Yeah, I don't even see her. I don't know where anyone is. Anyway, I'll leave it there. We'll figure out where Apples is. But I'll leave you at the end here with a new movie coming out called Iran War. It's very well done. I'll leave that here for you at the end. And, also enjoy it all, right? This is crazy. We're actually living in what's going to be the most insane time in human history. It's just about to start. And I'm planning to have a lot of fun during it. I hope you are too, but you got to be prepared. So make sure you're ready for what's coming, and also be physically, mentally, and spiritually ready. And that's doing the work. And if you haven't done the work yet, what have I been telling you? You're going to have to do it, or you're not going to make it through the next couple of years. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Glad I'm here on the ranch. How you doing, Apples? Pretty good. We're playing that. Sheila's got the cocoa, and we just chase her. That's what we do.
Sir, they're about to go nuclear. How long do we have? They're 2 weeks away. How 2 weeks away are they? Even more 2 weeks away than they were 5 years ago. My God! That's dangerous levels of 2 weeks away. I know. Son, if anything happens to me, continue my work. We're only 2 weeks away. I will continue, inshallah. Now I'll go to where no one can find me. My office on the 3rd floor, right by that really big window. Vengeance! Sir, if we attack, they will close the Strait of Hormuz. They don't have the balls to close the Strait of Hormuz. They just closed the Strait of Hormuz. And oil is now over $100 a barrel. Please keep me out of this. No one likes this war. And I want to be president one day. Come on, send a boat or something.
You're the most powerful military in the world. You send your own boats.
That was a test. Ha! You fell right into my trap. Sometimes the best reason for war is no reason at all.
Imagine having the opportunity to invest alongside the earliest crypto pioneers in a brand new alpha project like Bitcoin or Ethereum before it even launched. With Raphael's latest opportunity, you could get in on the ground floor of a potentially similar massive opportunity, which will soon be unveiled to VIC members.